Hello everybody, this is Soda Online from Team Avalon, and I am back to do another deck profile. And I think this is appropriate time to do this because yesterday this deck actually won Worlds tournaments. And honestly, I'm not shocked because I know this deck is gonna win, and just because of how powerful it is. So I am going to make a deck profile on. Hold on, let me get rid of this on Youthberk because I said that's gonna be my next one. So I have it all ready set up. So of course the grade one. Grade one. Man, I can't read or look at numbers. Grade 0, grade 1, grade 0. When you go second, you draw. Grade 1 on ride, it does nothing. Grade 2, when you ride on top of the grade 1, you Soul Blast 1, you check the top 3 cards, and then you can add a Youthberk to hand, or you get to call something, which is really nice. Grade 3, when you ride on top of the grade 2, you Counter Blast 1, you choose a grade 2 from the drop, or greater, and you add it to your hand. So most people would, discard a grade 2 that they're gonna planning to call anyways, or they're gonna discard a grade 3 Youthberk or Revolve form, and then they just add it back to your hand. So it's pretty much like a free ride. The reason why people would discard a grade 2 is because they want to give as less information as, to your opponent, as less as information to your opponent as you want. Because if you discard Tempest or whatever, they know you're gonna have a Tempest. They know you have a Gust. They know you have a Persona, right? But if you're gonna discard a grade 2 that you're planning to call anyway to do pressure, that's not giving away for information. So that's my theory when it comes to discarding, for the grade 2s. So let's move on to. I hope these are in order. Yeah, these are in order. All right, cool. So first, let's start with the grade 3. Of course, your extra 3 of Skyfall because you need the Persona ride. Because this deck, by the way, if you tempo this deck correctly, you will Persona ride every turn. Trust me, because my friend plays this deck because I built this for him for Springfest, and he pilot amazingly, and he Persona ride literally every turn. It is bonkers of the stuff he can do. 3 of the Gust, because Gust is still really good, especially with the new support we got, Sequana. And I will show you guys the combo that I'm actually talking about. And 3 Gust. Is better. People play 4, it's up to you, to be honest with you. And then, of course, the last grade 3, Tempest, is a must. The reason, okay, so when I said people play 4 Gust, it's because people actually only play 3 Tempest, and they play 4 of the Gust. It's all depends on you. You do what you need to do. But I I prefer 4 Tempest because I want the plus. I want the power. Because, Tempest, you gives your whole entire front row 5k. His skill is when he entered by Revolve form, you Counter Blast 1. You check the top 2 cards of your deck, and then you could bottom 1 card from your opponent's field that is to the grade that is being revealed. So, yeah, and not only that, you add those cards to your hand. So if you check triggers, bad, obviously, but you get guarding power. If you check 1 or 2, you could bottom deck their intercept, and you can bottom deck their boosters. 3, yeah, that's good luck, man. Tough luck. Unless you're playing against Oscadate. If you're playing against Oscadate, that's a different story. Because you want to bottom deck that. So let's move on to the grade 2 now. I play 3 Schneisel for now. I'm gonna bump this up to 4. So technically it's gonna be 4 Schneisels. Schneisel is kind of plus 1. You check top 5, and then you add a Youthberk to your hand. And when he also gets 5k, and then your Vanguard always gets 5k as well. So he's also like a big booster for your Vanguard. And then I play 3 of the Verdedi. I normally just call her as a 10k booster. She is pretty much a 10k booster if you have a Vanguard with you as its name. So yeah, She's just there for the guard power. Honestly, that's it. So those are all the grade 2s. Honestly, that's just we just play total. Total is 7 grade 2s. Nowhere near 8 yet. So now we're gonna move on to the grade 1s. Obviously, we play the PG, the special PG, and then we play one of the Centitude. And then this is a new card because a lot of people is actually starting to play this card, and I can see why. I see why people are starting to play this card. This is a set 2 card. It's called Ready, Knight of the Heavenly Roar. Ready. What she does is on Axe skill you cannot blast 2, and then all your trigger units gets plus 5,000 power, and it's not once per turn, so you could keep on doing it as much soul as you have. You can do it as much as you want. So normally people will soul blast 4, so that means your triggers is doubled. And the reason, so she's not there particularly for the power to hit your opponent, but she is there to play mind games, because the thing is with you, since you tempo so much, you dig through your deck so much, and obviously you shuffle a lot. What she does is, and you only need one of her on the field. You don't need 2 of her. You only need 1 of her on the field. So when you use her skill, it's for the whole entire turn. So even though you go to revolve form, all that stuff, it still activates. So when you have her on the field, for example, if you're attacking, right, and your opponent is guarding for a 1 to pass, that 1 to pass becomes a no pass because of her ability that your trigger units is going to get for plus 5k or double. Most likely it's going to be doubled. So most people would play her when the deck is like, thin enough that they can drive checks like triggers like nothing. So people would be afraid of her, of your attack. So what would they do? It's like, instead of guarding for a 1 to pass or a 2 to pass or a no pass, they would guard for like majority of the time OT to pass. So, well, since Youth doesn't have triple drive, right? So they will just guard for a 3 to pass, or they will just straight up says, okay, nah, I'm gonna PG you. So she is there just for the mind games. Like I said, you don't need 2 of her, you just need 1. That's why I'm planning to take out 1 of her and play a 4th Schneisel, because I feel like that's more important. So she's there just literally just for the mind games to make your opponents overguard. Because another thing you want to do with Youth is you want to reduce your opponent's hands as much as possible, so they don't have cards to guard against all your other attacks. So now we're gonna move on to our other grade 1s. It's Therapy Angel. Therapy Angel is good for your Skyfall's attack. Skyfall skills, and it's also good for Gust. Because Skyfall, you have to discard a card, right, to search the top 3 cards of your deck, and you either add a Youthberk to your hand. It has to be revolve form though. You have to add a revolve form Youthberk to your hand, or you cost something, right? So when you discard her, her ability activates. So you Soul Blast 1, and then you get to call her to the rear guard. So you're technically not minusing from hand, because you're gonna call her anyways. And not only that, if you manage to see her with you using the Youthberk skill, you can actually call her from the deck, because her skill says you cannot ride her or normal call her. But since you're calling her from the deck, that's not normal call, so that's different. So it's the same thing with Gust. If you're using Gust skill, you have to discard a card anyways. So you would discard her, right? And then you're gonna use her skill right away and bring her back, and you're gonna put it behind Gust. And then now Gust has a booster. So she's good for multiple reasons. So Therapy Angels, in my opinion, it's a must-have as a 4-of. Now let's move on to one of the most broken card in the deck. Like, I swear to God, this card is so busted. Sequana. Oh boy, Sequana. First skill. she gets plus 2,000 power if your Vanguard is a Youthberk. Second skill, you put her into the soul, your Vanguard gets plus 1 drive, or you decrease or increase your Vanguard plus 1 drive. That's very specific. So she's good. Her best combo is with Gust, because Gust, his skill already gives him plus 1 drive, right? So you would use Saguana's skill to put her into Gust. Gust now is increased to 1 drive, and then you're gonna use Gust skill to discard a card to plus 1 drive. So you have to do this combo that specifically, is because if you're gonna use Gust skill first, her skill doesn't activate, because her skill says decrease or increase to 1, right? To 1, not increase by 1. So that's very important. And not only that, like I said, Gust skill, you have to discard a card. So you would discard a Therapy Angel. Therapy Angel comes back, and now Gust is swinging for a lot of power, twin drive, and if you have that ready on your field, your opponent is definitely gonna PG that. Like, there's no chance they're not gonna PG it. If they're not gonna PG it, they're most likely gonna do it like a 3 to pass. They have to, they have to do a 3 to pass. And then that's it for the grade 1. Now let's move on to the zeros triggers. So I play 8 crits, which is normal for a Youthberk deck. 3 fronts, which is normal again for a Youthberk deck, because one is because the guard power, it's a 20k shield if your opponent is grade 3, and the front triggers is really good because if you're gonna be swinging with your Vanguard first, you're gonna be swinging with Skyfall first most of the time, right? When you swing your Skyfall, if you manage to trigger check a front, that's amazing, because now your rear guards is gonna get plus 10. Your Vanguard won't, because when you go to a raw form, it becomes a new unit, so it does not get the plus 10, sadly. So, but there's always gonna be a balance, right? And then I play 3 of the generic heals, and I play 1 of the effect heals when your opponent unit attacks you, and their critical is 2 that is not from a trigger effect. It gets plus 15. So pretty much is for against Oscar 8, against any unit that has an ability that gives them plus one critical, So she's there literally just as a extra 15k to those type of matchups. And then obviously your ulti, self-explanatory ulti. So that is the deck that I made for my friend, and like I said, it is insanely powerful. Like, it is so good. Like, this deck is so good to the point that, like, it's so brain dead. Like, it hurts me to say, but this deck, it requires no skill. I said it. I'm sorry. I said it really does not require any skills, because all your most important pieces is pretty much your Tempest or your Gust and Saguana. And if you have a Therapy Angel, sure. If you don't, that's fine. And that's it. You're grade 2, sure. If you want rear guards, most likely you will have it. And it doesn't require thinking. I'm sorry. This deck is just far too easy to play and to win with, to be honest with you. So that is the Youthberk deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's anything that you guys can give an advice to this deck, please let me know in the comments below. I will for sure test it out, and if it end up being good, then I will make an update of it, of why this is good and the changes that you guys pretty much gave me an advice for. So this is Youthberk, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys have a good Sunday and have fun with your friends when it comes to Vanguard. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.